Hi everyone, welcome back to Friday Gaming Fun. What would be Terrence and my brother Terrence.
Hey everybody. So this week, what we're gonna do is to demonstrate how we set up the Nintendo Switch with the adaptive controller. Because in the last video, we showed you Torrance playing the Nintendo Switch for the first time in 20 years. So this week, we want to actually show you how to do it if you also want to do this for yourself. There's a couple of things. So I think last time we mentioned that we use the Xbox adaptive controller. So this is what it looks like. Let me just take this charging cable away. So this is what it looks like. So as you can see, it has the two A/B paddle switches here. It has the up, down as well. And the coolest thing about this is the multitude of plugins. So for example, because Torrance uses a head switch here, and he also uses a switch in his hand using a buddy button. So we're now able to then plug in two of those buttons for the controls. So for example, in Mario Kart, we use one of these A/B buttons so that Torrance can control the gas. And then we also use one of the LR buttons to simulate the LR in a actual remote, like a controller, by plugging one of his buddy buttons into this. So this is an important piece, the Xbox adaptive controller, which I really love for its simple design and options available. That's the first thing. Then the second thing to get to work on a Nintendo Switch, you would need to get a Magic NS for Switch. So this actually plugs into the Nintendo Switch's USB, which then allows us to connect a controller that is USB into. So by doing that, it would allow someone using the adaptive controller to then use the Switch. There are certain things to keep in mind though. So because this is a Xbox controller, some of the controls aren't by default the same as a Nintendo Switch. So for example, by default the Xbox adaptive control, A is actually B on the Switch, and B is actually A on the Switch. So you could set up profiles for this Xbox adaptive controller so that you could change it around. But if you're kind of lazy like me, and seeing the type of games that Torrance and I have been playing, I didn't bother like setting up certain profiles for the adaptive controller. Instead, I just know that so for Torrance, when he's playing Mario Kart, that B is A, so I just make sure that I plug it into B that simulates A on the Nintendo Switch. But if you're playing more complex games and you just want to make sure that you have all the different game profiles set up, you could actually do that. All you have to do is just download the Xbox adaptive controller software on your PC, and then you could actually set up multiple profiles. You could have 3 profiles that you could set up, and then which means that once you set it up, you'll have all the different controls in place to play that game. But in our demonstration, it's just going to be a very simple. What I'm going to show you is how to connect the Xbox adaptive controller to the Switch. So that's one thing. And then the second thing will be the syncing up another controller to the setup, so then you could co-pilot with the Xbox adaptive controller. So yeah, that's really it. Any other thoughts that you want to say or talk about?
Oh, just thanks to Xbox for creating this.
Yeah,
controller.
yeah,
Gives also.
yeah. As you can see, it's like a very sleek design. Yeah, and it's just very easy to use once you take it out of the box. And we'll include again the links below to where you can get these devices. And just to show you, so for example, this is a buddy button that Terrence uses, and it's really as simple as, so you just plug it in, and then away we go, right? So yeah, so then this part we're gonna show you how we actually set it up on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to actually connect the Xbox adaptive controller to the Nintendo Switch. So here we have the Xbox adaptive controller. It's plugged in to the power, so this is the USB cable. And then we'll also need the Magic NS for Switch. So the Magic NS for Switch will go into the USB port, like so. And then what you would need to do is then you would connect the Xbox adaptive controller into the Magic NS Switch. So once you do that, you'll see that it lights up. And like I mentioned earlier, the keys for the Xbox adaptive controller is slightly different from the Switch, meaning at this moment, B is A and A is B. So as you can see here, it says press A to continue. So I pressed B and then it continued. So in order to actually set it up properly on your Nintendo Switch, you would actually need to go to settings. And then scroll all the way down to controllers and sensors. And just make sure that the Pro wired communication is on. Because by default, that option is off. So in order to actually get it to work, you would then need to turn this on. Okay? So once you turn this on, then it'll be working. So that's how you actually get the Xbox adaptive controller to connect. Okay? So that's the first piece. And also just to show you that with the buddy button. So this is with the buddy button now. And I've plugged it into B, which is really A. So once I hit this buddy button, it now works as A. Okay? So I can hit back. So that's the first piece to actually get the adaptive controller to work with the Nintendo Switch. Then the next part, to get a controller to then work with as co-pilot with the adaptive controller, is for the Magic NS for Switch, you could actually then pair up a wireless controller with it. So it could do a wired controller using USB and a wireless controller too. So right now you may not be able to see, but once you plug in the NS adapter, it'll power on, and what will happen is it'll blink different colors. And in this case with the Switch, it is purple. So right now, I know we're kind of far away, but it's blinking purple. And in order for me to pair up, I'll just need to power on a Switch controller. So for the first time, you would need to sync it up. But right now, as you can see, it's already paired up with the Magic NS Switch. So what happens is then this controller, I'm also able to control the Switch. So which means that once we play, the Nintendo Switch recognizes this and this as one controller, which then allows Terrence and I to play games together where he would control his two controls and I would then share control using this. So yeah, that is how you set up how to connect the Xbox adaptive controller to the Switch, and also how to sync up another controller so that you could co-pilot together. So that's how you do it. Hope that's helpful.
Thanks everyone for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it.
And we hope that you're able to get something out of it and to rediscover or re-enjoy gaming, because the Xbox adaptive controller really levels the playing field to a certain extent of allowing more people to play video games.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Torrance is a great testament of that in being able to game together for the first time in 20 years. It is something else. So yeah, we hope that this is useful.
Well, anyways, you can find us on social media, on Instagram, it's torrance.ho, TORANC.ho. You can find us on My Neighbor Totoro, on Facebook, and YouTube, of course.
And you could find me and reach out to me on Instagram at Terrenceho, TERRENCHO, and on Twitter at TerrenceWKHo. So if you like this video, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.